Good morning. Welcome back to Morning at NTV. My name is Malaki Vilodera. Now, I'm sure most of us are entrepreneurs and we're always looking for opportunities, and trade is one of them. How do you get into that space to export goods and products, so you can earn a buck or two? Many have been thinking and saying that it's a hard space to get into. You have to have these huge sums of capital to get into that space. But that's actually not the case. And so today on Solutions segment, we'll show you just that, how to get into that space. And so the Ministry of Trade has made it easier for us. They've created a portal. And so you and I, from the comfort of your home, just with your phone and data, you can be able to access all this information and make the process less tedious and more convenient. So in studios to talk about that is Madam Mary Amomperia. She is the database administrator at the Ministry of Trade, and she is also the portal manager for this. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming in studios. At least now I'm like, this is the solution we've been needing, all of us. So just get us back to where this came from, the birth of this portal. Why did the Ministry of Trade sit down and think, by the way, we need to have this portal as soon as yesterday?
Yeah, thank you very much. As a ministry, we receive several requests, very many, for information on different things. But one of the many requests we receive is about information on how to trade. They'll ask you, how do I do this? Where do I go to do this? Where do I get this? How much will I pay? And as a ministry, it's our role to facilitate trade. And I was making my friends laugh that some time back, somebody asked me that they wanted to export eggs to Comoros. And honestly, I couldn't even remember in my geography where Comoros was. And later on, get together the process of having the eggs exported there. And it got me thinking with my colleagues that I talked to it about on what can we do to have these questions actually answered before we are asked. Because people are always asking, how do I do this? Where do I go? How much do I require? Can I actually manage to do it, or is it just for the big people or the rich? So that's where we're coming from. Uganda is also a member of the WTO, and the WTO has something that they call the Trade Facilitation Agreement, where member states are required to publish their procedures online, procedures on export, import, and transit, just to create transparency. We know how it is when you actually do not know what you need, you do not know where you should go. It gets a bit tedious and edgy, and sometimes people just give up.
I'll tell you what, and I'm in business, I'm a consultant, and most of the questions I get is, this processes of getting all this information is quite tedious. So many say that, if I can't afford to get a middleman who will go around all these offices and get this information for me, I'd rather not get into it. And if most of them actually end up asking, before you start a business, you're like, if you have a partner, you ask them, what do you think about it? Okay, they'll tell you, okay, go and ask so and so. But all the feedback you're getting is negative. This venture is totally unable and you can't actually achieve it. In terms of capital, is so huge. So at least now this actually bridges the gap and you're getting real information and the true information about it.
Yes, you're getting it very right. That is what we are trying to do, to make it possible for actually our Ugandans to trade, to make it easy for them and to help them prepare. Because the process of preparing, as you're saying, itself is a process. So let's say the portal is being the middleman in this case, that you have been asking all sorts of questions, and sometimes maybe they don't get the right answers, or sometimes they also genuinely do not know. But also the other thing is that there are many institutions involved in trade. It's not just one institution. So you have to get information from several places. So this is a way to have the information in one place so that you're able to start.
And what you're actually telling me, the beauty is this is not just for business people who have been seasoned and have been there for quite a long time. It's for the common SME, the common person who wants to get into the space. So tell us more about that. Do I have to have an account, come onto the portal, have an account, create an account for me to access this information?
No. It's open information. As long as we have published it and you go to ugandatrades.go.ug, you have the information. The only thing you need to know is actually how to navigate through. And I'm glad that NTV has given us this opportunity to tell their viewers about how it can be done. Yes, so we, back to what you asked me, we are answering like 5 questions. When I need to export or to import, what do I require? where do I go? Because that's always the biggest question. Where do I start from? What do I need to take with me? When I go, what will I get back? Because if I take my certificates, if I take my documents, what will I get back? How long will it take me? Because maybe some people are actually not in Kampala, or they are staying far away from our different institutions. So they need to have an idea of how long it will take them to actually get the process done. And the other big question is always, how much will it cost me?
Yes.
This answers that question, so that you prepare financially on how much you will need. The other question it answers is, what if I do not get help from where you have sent me? How do I get then help from a higher office? The portal gives you that answer. It also gives you an option to actually simplify the procedure. When you have gone through this hassle, as Ugandans like to call it, and you want to suggest a simplification mechanism, the portal gives you that opportunity. Because as a Ministry of Trade, you're interested in facilitating trade. So we're interested in listening to what you actually have to say. And if we have told you that there's this procedure online, and then you actually go on ground and find it's not the right one, the portal also gives you an opportunity to actually tell us, no, this is not what happens at agriculture. So that it helps us. I told you that we have, Uganda, being a member of the WTO, signed a trade facilitation agreement, and we have a trade facilitation committee. The role of this committee is to create an enabling environment really for trade.
All right. But of course, if I want to get into the space, and we are big with agriculture, maybe for example, I want to start exporting matoke. Will I also get information on the external markets that are available for me to export my matoke?
We have started with the procedures. We have started with export, import, and transit procedures. We have started with the market requirements of where you are going. At the next stage, we shall do the market information on actually which markets need your products. What we have done so far to help those who need that is to give just a snapshot of where we are exporting right now, so that people know where there is a need already and where there's market already. But the details of the market shall be at the next phase when we are finished profiling the products.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you actually told me something very interesting, and this is for them that actually export perishable goods. For example, fruits and vegetables, flowers and stuff like that. And many a times, for the questions I've been getting, do I have to now have this big capital to buy, you know, storage facility that can freeze these things to ensure that, of course, by the time these goods get to that at the end, they're not spoiled? Do I have to get all that as a starting SME? Do I have to get to that point whereby I purchase my cold boxes and stuff like that? Is it important, or all this is provided for by government?
No, not actually by government, but there are handlers at the airport.
Okay.
There's fresh handling and several other handlers at the airport that have cold houses where you can have your goods stored. You do not have to own them. You simply you hire them for the time that you need your goods. And these are perishable products, so you just need them handled for a few hours and they're off to go. Yeah.
Interesting, interesting. So we'll get guys into the practicals. We'll show you how to navigate the portal. But we're getting all this information, and be sure to bring in your questions. We are on the hashtag, like I told you, Morning at NTV. But Mary, just tell us today, and this is, of course, something that we need to make clear. If I now get all this information here, does it mean that this is also a portal where I can now do online registration for my business and do everything online, or it's just a portal for information alone, and then after that, I have to go through the bureaucratic processes of going to every office?
Government has had several interventions from different agencies. And as I told you, each agency has, the portal is not taking over the processes of the other agencies. Where the procedures are online, we give you a link to where you can actually do the procedure on the portal, where those procedures are already online. Where they are not online, yes, you have to go physically to these agencies. What the portal does is it tells you what to go with, how long it will take you, what you will get from there, and who you will actually see, as I will show you when we start going through it.
All right, okay. And we need to prepare this. So at this point, let's take a short commercial break so we can be able to be sure to show you exactly how you can navigate through the portal. So just a few minutes, let's take a short break. We'll be back.
Come and witness the most exciting cultural experience with the biggest names in the African music like Oliver Mutukudzi, Habib Koite, and Hoba Hoba Spirit, alongside amazing local talent led by Michael Owoma, Waiki Bender, and other performers like the extremely talented Basoga Sound Xylophone Group, the exciting Zizi Adungu Group, together on one stage in the biggest 3-day African Cultural Music Festival in East Africa, in Katuri Kirachiriandongo district, from the 16th to the 18th of November. The Mzizi Sounds of the Now Festival.
We spend so much time going from store to store searching for authentic products at the best price. But I've got the solution for you. Go to the Jumia app and choose from thousands of products already available at the best price. Search for your product, add it to your cart, input your delivery address, pay cash on delivery, and enjoy 7 days free return. Jumia, the online shop you can trust.
NTV brought you the Fast Economic Summit in 2016 on jumpstarting Uganda's economic transformation, turning vision into action.
I think we spend over $800 million as a country every single year importing stuff.
My strong view is that we need to invest heavily at different levels in the agricultural value chain.
In 2017, we brought you the second economic summit, triggering Uganda's economic sustainable growth with jobs.
For the majority of farmers have issues adopting production technologies that would help and increase yields and quality.
The interest rate is the key price in the economy. You cannot have a CBR rate of 9.5% and then you have retail lending rates in the upper double digits. That spread is unnecessary.
This year, NTV brings you the third annual economic summit under the theme Key Policy Triggers for Economic Growth with Jobs. The summit will be held on the 28th November 2018 at the Kampala Surena Conference Center. The summit is brought to you by the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development and NTV, turning on your world.
Politics bamujje mu security eggwanga lyaffe ligenda kukola ki kufuna obuzibu nze omuntu wa wansi atuula wansi ku ttaka ssebo nze ngenda okuweerera omwana oyo ng'onzimbidde essomero lya kalina
naye ne gavumenti oba eri munkwe etubuzaabuza tekutula eri awo tulaga eno tulaga eno esayidi katale nesayidi katale kakati abantu ate koona abantu basalinga badde eno nga badde eno emmotoka zibakoone awantu atwaka gavumenti etekawo sente wetulaba ambulensi zetuzibira omuntu n'awulira akagombe ka ambulensi ng'ereeta mulwadde n'alemera mu kkubo.
On the next episode is brought to you by
Kiri Soda.
Thank you for staying with us. In studios, like I told you, we were having that particular conversation. We've always been thinking that them that can export, getting into the trade space, are them that have the money. But no, this time round, even you and I, the SME, them that are startups, can get into this particular market, this space of exporting our goods and products to the external markets. So in studios, I'm actually joined by Madam Maria Mumparire. She is a database administrator at the Ministry of Trade and a portal manager at that. Now, they created a portal just for me and you to be able to conveniently access this information on how to get into that space. So today we're doing it practically. Thank you so much, Mary, for coming on. So
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome. So we're getting this right. We want to show you how to particularly navigate through this process. But Mary, just assure us that even the portal is user-friendly.
Yes, it's very user-friendly. Actually, what I didn't mention when we started is that it's done from the user point of view, not from the agency's point of view. That's why it's answering the questions about you. What do I need? Where do I go? What do I take? How much do I need? What do I get back? So yes, it's user-friendly.
It's user-friendly, guys. So them that are not IT savvy and don't like these tech things, it's user-friendly. So get us in on that. So we are on the portal. You'll be showing this on your screens. So just take us through, Mary. Take us through. So we log in. We have data. We have our phones. We have our laptops, our gadget, whatever it is. So where do we go to? www.
Uganda Trades that I've highlighted, .go.ug. Very easy to remember. If you want to trade, Uganda Trades.
Okay.
Yeah. And when we are there, it of course brings us a homepage, like what you can see now. And on the homepage, we are able to then choose what we want to do. As I said, the portal gives you opportunity to choose whether you want to export, import, or if you need a transit procedure.
All right.
So we are interested in export as a country because we need to grow our export. So if, for example, I choose that I want to export coffee, we have done several commodities.
Yes,
but,
tea.
Yeah. So if I choose that I want to export coffee, then the portal will bring me what I need. It's designed in such a way that it tells you the preliminary registrations or licenses that you need.
Okay.
Before you think about anything, what preliminary registrations or licenses do you need to have? So for example, for coffee, it will tell you need to get a coffee export license. You need to have a registered grading facility or to have access to one. You need to obtain a performance bond. You need to register with Export Promotion Board. You need to register with the Ministry of Agriculture. You need to register on a single window. These are preliminary registrations or licenses that you need to have.
Okay.
And when you finally have them, the portal also tells you what you need per consignment. So you need a quality certificate and you need a phytosanitary certificate for coffee.
Wait, so in the first processes where you have to register and all, you have to have all these documents, it actually shows you where to go to.
Yes,
to get these documents.
Yes, and I can show you. For example, to obtain a coffee export license, if that is, because that is the first step that we have highlighted for you, it will show you when you open that you need to go through 6 steps to do this, and you need to go to 2 agencies.
2 agencies?
Yes, the Uganda Coffee Development Authority, you'll go there 5 times, and you'll go to a bank, which is Stanbic or Tropical
Bank. You'll go there 5 times?
Yes.
Break it down for us.
Yes, I'm going to. Okay. You will obtain one result, which is a coffee export license, but you need to go with 7 documents. Yeah. They're not complicated documents, but it's just documents you need to know that you need to go with.
Right.
Because then when you don't go with them, then you have a session of going to get what you need and then go back to take.
And it's also costly.
Which is costly and time consuming. And then it also tells you how much it will cost you. It will cost you 1.5 million shillings to get this export license.
Okay.
Then it tells you how many days. You'll get this license within 3 to 7 days.
Okay.
Yeah. And back to your question, breaking down the steps, you will apply for this license. You obtain a letter of approval, a notification that your letter of approval is ready. Then you go and pick it. Then you go to the bank and pay for it. You submit your payment slip, and then you obtain your license.
So you actually break it down for us completely, like
Yes.
from step A to B. And what you're assuring us is all these are approved processes. I won't go down to the practicals, go down to start up, with the processes, and then I get surprises at the middle.
What we have done is that, as I told you, this is not the Ministry of Work of Trade that does this. These are the institutions that facilitate trade that do this. So we have got this information from them. And we have certified this information. If you can see on my screen, there are procedures that have something like a ribbon. Every time we finish a procedure, we go back to the institutions and tell them, are you sure this is what actually happens?
Okay.
And then the responsible officers certify the procedure.
All right.
So for example, when you're applying for the coffee export license, we'll show you where to go, which is Coffee Development Authority. We'll show you that it's Coffee House. So when you're on Ginger Road, where we've told you it is, then you look out for this building.
Brilliant.
And when you're in the building, then you look out for this office. We tell you the office number and we tell you which one it is. We tell you the working hours.
Yes.
And then we tell you the person to look out for, especially for procedures that have particular people handling them.
Even the person.
Even the person.
That's detailed.
And when they change, then we change the people. And then we tell you, when you reach there, be sure to sign in a register and go with these documents.
Okay, so let's assume that we're done with the, requirements that we have. Let's get to the other process, which is now making sure that your goods are, meet the standards.
Okay, to get a quality mark?
Yes.
Okay, so when you have registered, as I showed you the whole procedure, you get a coffee export license, have access to a grading facility. If you need to obtain a quality mark, that is also a procedure that we tell you how to do. Okay. As I told you in the beginning, the procedures that are online will give you a link to actually do them. Those that are physical procedures will tell you where to go. So to obtain a quality mark, there are 14 steps, but the majority of them are online. So that is the beauty about it. National Bureau of Standards has tried to put some of their procedures online to make it easy. So you will obtain user rights on the UNBS system, and we give you the link because it's an online procedure. When you're on the portal and you see this that looks like an orange globe, that shows that the procedure is online and you actually don't have to walk to the agency to have it done.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Then you submit your application, then you pay for audit, and then you, the processes are all laid out until you finally obtain your quality mark.
All right.
Yeah.
On to the other process in terms of the volumes that I need to start to export.
Okay, the volumes are really entirely up to you as a trader. Okay. What we have done, we are aware that we have the small traders that are trading goods under $2,000. We have cared to document that process as well. We have something that we call a simplified trade regime that Uganda is doing with its neighboring countries, the COMESA and the EAC, which allows traders trading goods under $2,000 to do it in a simplified way. So we have cared also document that for them. So to export, you don't need to even have $2,000. $2,000 is an equivalent of 6 million shillings.
Right.
You don't need to have that much. And we have told you the procedure that you need to go through, which is simplified. You don't need to hire a clearing agent. You don't need to declare. The customs officials do.
Is the procedure here?
Yes, it is.
Okay, kindly show us. So all this is laid out for you guys.
Yes,
totally detailed.
it is. Yes, it is laid out for you. So when I reach clearance, and I choose Busia as my point of exit, for example, and I think we do more coffee in Malaba.
Okay.
And I choose my value of goods. Coffee, the people trading coffee, most of them are doing above the 6 million shillings. So I need to choose a product that we trade in small quantities, maybe maize or fruits and vegetables. And then I can choose the at clearance.
Malaba.
Yes. Then I can choose goods that are under 2,000.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So then it tells you consignment clearance of goods under the simplified trade regime at Malaba. And we actually tell you that this procedure applies to exports of 2,000 or less. So, and we tell you how to do it.
Wow, wow. So we have no excuse whatsoever.
Yes, in my view. So we tell you that you need to go to 3 institutions. You go to the Malaba Cross-Border Trade Association, you go to the Uganda Revenue Authority, and you go to the bank if you need to pay some money. And all that you need to get is a release order at the end of your procedure. And it tells you the documents that you actually need and how long it takes you. This is just 1 day. For the goods under $2,000, you don't need more than a day.
Okay. You know, we've been having issues with getting documents, and you go to an office and they will tell you, this one will just take 3 working days. After 3 working days, you're there and the document is not ready. So with this, of course, even the respective agencies have to up their game.
Yes.
And they have to stick by the, duration.
Because they have given us the information.
Right.
So they have got to deliver. But if they don't, we have given you a mechanism to actually report that this procedure is not what we have said it is. And then, as I told you, we have a trade facilitation committee where all these agencies that facilitate trade are represented. So if they are not doing the right thing, then this is actually the right time to tell them that, hey, you told us it's 1 day to clear our simplified products. It's taking 3 days. Yeah.
And you know, even with these processes, as we come to a close, there are officials that are totally corrupt. They'll tell you, if you have to get your document in 2 days, you have to give me kitu kidogo. So do I have a platform to actually report the officers in this portal?
Yes,
Okay.
in this portal, yes, you have a platform, but we also have another system we have developed at the ministry that we call the non-tariff barriers reporting system. The non-tariff barriers reporting system helps you report what we call NTBs, problems that you experience while trading that are not tariff related. So for example, if you're having administrative delays that are unnecessary because the portal is clear. If your goods under $2,000 in 1 day, I should be able to go. I should have all my processes done. Then those delays, you report them at the portal. You can use your phone on *201# and report them, and they'll come directly to the ministry and to the agencies that are implementing these procedures.
You said
*201#.
Okay, *201#,
Yes.
guys.
And on the portal, it's here as report NTB on the same portal, because we have tried to put all the systems that we are using on the portal so that it's easy for you.
Okay.
So should we say this is what is happening, and honestly you see it's an unnecessary delay, then report it as an NTB.
And it will be taken up?
It will be taken up, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, thank you so much. We can't close without you answering to this particular, kind of question on social media. This person is saying, I'm working in the Philippines. I'm a Ugandan working there, and I want to get into that particular, kind of platform where I can export. So for people living in the diaspora, Ugandans living in the diaspora, is it just information, or they're even facilitated on how they can go about it without having to come back home to get issues, especially with the registration process? They have to come back home to make sure that all that is sorted out, or as we move on, you're going to also create a facilitation for them living across
as I said,
the country,
there are already procedures that are online, where you do not actually have to physically be here. There are procedures, unfortunately, which are still manual. We are moving. E-governance is a process that we're working on as government. So some of the procedures are already seamless and online. Some we are still transiting. But what this helps you is actually what is online and what is not yet online, and then you see how to go about it.
So you can't be cheated even if you're not around.
Yes, that actually is one of the big things this will do. It will create transparency, and that is what the WTO and the member states in there are looking at, creating transparency in trade procedures. So as to create efficiency.
I think this is a miracle for
miracles happen.
Yeah, this is a miracle for us all. So at least now you can't be cheated. That's the thing. If you have the information, you know what the process is like, you know what is required, you can't be cheated. Thank you so much for coming in studios. Thank you so much for being behind the creation of this particular portal. I think it's an answer to many questions that have been asked throughout the years, of course, with SMEs wanting to get on board, struggling. This is the answer. Thank you so much, Madam Mary Amumpaire, database administrator from the Ministry of Trade. She's also the brains behind the portal. Of course, there's an entire team, but she is the face of it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that has been it for solutions. Yes, Mary, you want to add something?
Yes, it's been supported by partners, Trademark East Africa, and the UNCTAD, who are actually our technical partners.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Mary. So that has been the conversation. Be sure to share this video with many friends that want to get into that space. Information is power. Let's make this happen. Morning at 10 TV still continues. Up next is Take Note with Flavia Tumisime. Keep it here.